So back with Mike Evans. For people who don't know this, they see all these interviews around the Super Bowl, and usually what happens is a player or a coach who's not in the Super Bowl will get hired by a company to come and represent its product at the Super Bowl. And I was so excited about Planters Peanuts and Mike Evans because when I was a kid, my father would bring home that blue can of Planters Peanuts, the salted peanuts. There's nothing else. And so for like the first 5, 6, 7 years of my nut-eating life, all I ever had was salted Planters Peanuts. Every week. That was the snack in the house. So, Mike Evans, I am responsible for you sitting in that chair right now. They made so much money off the King family that here you are. They could hire you to represent their product at the Super Bowl.
And I am much appreciative to you and Planters for having me. I love mixed nuts also. But yeah, thanks for having me, and thanks for the contribution to Planters.
All right, good. Thanks for their contribution to me. Hey, so Mike, 3 things I wanted to ask you about. The first one is, I always got this sense over the last couple of years that not only did you kind of like playing with Tom Brady, but you really liked being around him, and you really kind of liked watching him, and he sort of really contributed to your, not only your statistics and winning a Super Bowl and all that stuff, but kind of knowledge about football, knowledge about competing, all that. I want to ask you a totally open-ended question. Just tell me what you take from Tom Brady with you for the rest of your career, rest of your life.
There's so many things to choose from. Obviously, my favorite thing is when he brought the TB12 facility. Was a huge help for me and my recovery process, and always being pliable and being able to play. But just being as humble as he is, I mean, the greatest athlete ever, one of them for sure. Just being able to just ask him anything, and he'll give you an honest answer. He'll tell us all cool stories about all the questions that we had watching him growing up playing. And I mean, he's just the ultimate human being and guy. He's as great as ever advertised.
Did he tell you before he made his announcement?
No, he didn't. No.
Wow.
The media jumped the gun, so they knew before he knew.
Yeah.
So.
And were you at all surprised, or when you left the locker room after that Rams game, were you thinking that it's pretty possible?
Yeah, I actually earlier in the season, but it was late in the season, into the regular season. We were at walkthrough, and he didn't participate in the full speed portion of practice. And I was just asking him, like, "Yo, big bro, what you doing after this year?" Just like a joke, like jokingly. And he looked at me in my face and was like, "I don't know." So I mean, before that, he would always say, "I don't know, man. I plan on coming back," and things like that. But this time he was serious about it. He was like, "I don't know." And I guess that was kind of his way of telling me without really telling me.
Yeah.
So that's when I kind of felt it. And after we lost to the Rams, man, I cried like a baby because, we lost and the way we lost, and then, possibly Tom's last game. So all that factored in, and it was a tough loss, but I'm so happy that I got to play with him for these last 2 years. Definitely life-changing, and he helped the franchise out a lot.
Can you think of one time that maybe you had that kind of conversation with him where you were asking him something about something in his career that meant a lot to him, that you were just curious about, those kinds of conversations when you really kind of quizzed him on his life in football?
Yeah, I just remember asking him about everything. Peyton Manning's my favorite player. So I had to let him know that as soon as I, met him in person. And I told him that, he made me cry as a child and as a grown-up now. So, I mean, he's a great guy. He definitely told us all the stories that we wanted to know. Can't point out just one that I remember off the top of my head, but there's a lot of great ones. Told us about everything, Tuck Rule, all that stuff, all the Super Bowls, anything you ask him about. He's a great teammate. He was telling us.
I want to ask you just a little bit about the Rams. You had 2 games against the Rams this year. In both games, you went over 100 yards. You had 8 catches for 119 in the first one, 8 for 106 in the second one. Plus, you obviously are playing against a highly competitive defense with Aaron Donald up front. Obviously, Jalen Ramsey, a really competitive, edgy corner who's got you a lot. What was the reason why you were able to have some success against them this year? And how do you think that translates into this game on Sunday?
Well, yeah, they're a really great defense. I mean, not many weaknesses at all. They play cover 1, cover 3 for the most part. Obviously, they'll mix in some cover 2 here and there, but they're definitely a one-high team. They let their pass rushers get after you. The corners play off, and they're really good at jumping routes. When they have to press, they can press as well, but they don't do as much of that. They're just really sound defensively, and they let those pass rushers get after you. And their offense is so great that they start so fast. If you don't start fast against the Rams, it's going to be a long game for you.
Especially knowing that the Bengals have a fairly suspect offensive line, and you guys had a strong offensive line. You think it's going to be hard for Burrow to have enough time to do what he would normally do?
Joe Burrow, you can never count him out. He's a playmaker. He's mobile. He can throw. He has playmakers on the outside. He has a really great running back. I mean, they can win the game. I'll just give a slight edge to the Rams because of the pass rush. If they can slow down that pass rush, they definitely have a chance. And get stops defensively. If the Bengals can stop the Rams just a little bit early, they'll have a chance.
Isn't it amazing that for most of your career in the NFL, the Bengals have either been, they might have made the playoffs, but they'd go out in the first round. But most of the time they were a bad team, and now they're a Super Bowl team. Do you kind of shake your head that they're sitting here in the Super Bowl?
No. I mean, this league has so much parity. Every year, it's like a new team, I feel like, can win it. That's how we were. I mean, I know we added Tom, and that's a huge, move, but, 6 years, I didn't touch the playoffs. And the last 2 years, we've been a contender. We won it last year and then had a good chance to win it this year. So, I mean, people's times will come. The NFL has always been really good with parity.
Mike, we'll end with this. I'm so curious about your career and the fact that you've done it on not very good teams. You've done it on a Super Bowl team. You've done it on a playoff team. What would you say if you point to 2 or 3 reasons why you have been able to maintain the level of consistency with the 1,000-yard seasons that you've had?
Yeah, well, God blessing me with the ability and health. The veteran players that I've been around, since day one. I've had veteran quarterbacks: Josh McCown, Mike Glennon, Vincent Jackson as a running mate at receiver, teaching me how to run routes and take care of my body each year. So, it's been a combination of all those things. Just being blessed and being put in position to have great teammates and great quarterbacks and play callers to give me the ball.
Hey, Mike Evans, thanks a lot for joining me on the podcast this week. Really appreciate it. Best of luck in the post-Brady era.
All right, thank you, Peter. One question for you.
Yeah.
How do you eat your mixed nuts?
I put them all in my hand like this. I just go like all of them. All of it like this. There's a little hole right here, okay?
Yeah.
And so you just keep going like that until you have no more nuts in your hand. I am not a picky nut eater. I am not a take one out of the thing. I take a firm grasp of my planter's nuts, and I just go like this. How do you do it?
I'm one at a time guy.
You're
I gotta
one
go
at
with
a
my
time
favorites
guy?
first. Yeah, I like them all, but I gotta go with my favorites first. pistachios, almonds, and then all the other stuff comes.
I do like the pistachios. But how does it feel to know that I'm a little bit more macho than you are? That I can take
that makes you more macho because you eat a handful of nuts?
Yes, it does. It does.
Really?
Yeah, it does. That's the definition of macho. How you eat your mixed nuts.
Well, my man, you got me beating that one then.
All right. Hey, Mike, listen, thanks a lot. Appreciate you joining me.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.